joining. This is Essence of Medicine, and today we're talking about e-cigarettes. I'm Amanda Armagast.
I'm Dr. Bassi for Essence, and this has very much relevant to actually what we do here in Inspired Spine. I'm a neurosurgeon specialized in minimal invasive spine surgery, and one of the reason we treat the patient is when your disc material is so bad that we have to take it completely out and make the bone grow together. We call that a fusion. And certainly, that fusion is something that happens whenever the bone breaks or whenever, for whatever reason, we want to bone grow together. And nicotine or smoking has a huge impact on that. As a matter of fact, it is one of the major risk factor for the bone not properly to grow.
And when you stop smoking, it helps your healing, right? It makes you heal
Well,
faster.
you see,
Or I guess a better way of saying that is smoking slows down your healing.
now, well, let's talk about nicotine, cigarettes, and then hone down the e-cigarettes and so on. What is cigarette? What is smoking? What is tobacco?
Well, I know tobacco is a plant and you can grow it, and then you treat it and you can roll it up into a cigarette using paper. But I think that there's some other stuff added to it. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't believe that the natural tobacco plant itself is as harmful as when it becomes processed into a cigarette.
When you process it, you're concentrating, you're getting rid of other material, you're concentrating in a specific way nicotine in that plant. That's what you do. But why would the plant have nicotine?
So other animals don't eat it.
Yeah, it's like it kills
It's a defense
insects.
mechanism.
It kills insects. Now, we have to understand, how does nicotine kills insects?
How? Toxins?
Well, see, I'm now I have to go literally almost a billion years back. Okay, when we started having more than one cell, multi-cell organism. So okay, Earth is about 4.5, 5 billion years. About 300, 400 million years after Earth finally cooled down, we had bacteria. And then 2 billion years later, we had this complex one cell organism. And about 800 million years, really not that long, we start to have multi-cell organism. At first, they were just like sea stars and these complex sponges and so on. But then eventually, they became more and more complex. But how do you coordinate this different part of your body to talk to each other? You develop a nervous system. Or for a long time, we thought then like your axons, we knew what they are, and so we thought they're like telegraph cables, that they're like wires, but they're not. A cell can be very long. They create what we call action potential, meaning a disbalance in the electrical charge inside and outside through certain channels, ion channels, that propagates, goes to the end of the cell, and then it connects to the next cell, but not directly. It releases a material, we call that neurotransmitter, and that neurotransmitter create a signal on the other side to the next neurons that's how they communicate. And there are lots of different kind of neurotransmitter. One of them, actually, we call them nicotinergic, because the material, the neurotransmitter that actually transfer the data from one to another is very similar to nicotine. So the nicotine plant find out eventually that look at those damn animals, those insects, mostly insects. They want to come and eat me. Now I'm going to mess up their brain, like give them something that make them to go crazy internally. Their nervous system goes crazy.
Yeah. So when the insect eats the plant,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know if we would even know this, but do you think that it makes the insect dizzy and lightheaded?
It kills them. But insect on their side, they said, okay, God, you got it. I, we are not even going to try it. Okay, nicotine. We are not going
They
to.
probably took one bite and it probably didn't even taste good.
Well, that is those insect that nicotine holding plant tasted well, they died out. Those that they thought, oh, this is yucky, they survived. That's how evolution works. Okay. And then and then imagine, then we go further, then comes this that dolphin that, oh, pufferfish, poisonous, it gives me high, let me go play with it. We human, or actually Native American, they discovered in a certain way that these plants actually give them some sort of high. And when the European came over and they tried that, my God, that is actually maybe something we can sell. That was the point. We can sell. And then hence start American history. Half of American history and heritage is based on European uh, money hungry, greedy people poisoning the European with tobacco to get rich. So,
And even that, to my understanding, is even that tobacco was much cleaner than what we have right now. Well, like when we think of when we think of a cigarette, what they were smoking or doing, whatever, is much different than what we have now.
because we had them science and brain to concentrate that to a point that, like coca leaves in South America, people just take it in the mouth, they chew it and so on.
And it
Nobody's
helps with
addicted there.
pain and stuff too.
It does a lot of
Yeah.
medicinal thing. Nobody's addicted there. But then some scientists come, oh, that's good. Let's concentrate it and make cocaine and then make it better. Let's make a crack cocaine so you can absorb all part of it
Mm-hmm.
and get really high. And so this is where I would say human reason, science, intelligent really backfire.
Because for a human, nothing is ever good enough. It always has to be more. This soda needs to be sweeter. This needs to be saltier. I need to get higher.
So, and that happened exactly to the nicotine or tobacco, that we literally find something that people were using for a long time, and but we concentrated and we made it easier absorbable by putting it, fermenting it, and then smoking it, and then inhaling it, and so on and so forth. Like, I'm sure you have seen the like in the Native American tradition, the pipe they smoke.
Yeah.
They were really long, right? That because they were long because first of all it cools off,
Mm-hmm.
and then lots of material.
Yeah, the longer the pipe is, the cleaner it gets as it goes through.
Exactly. But then no, we tried to do everything better, and we did better. So then the tobacco were born, and but the spread of tobacco was based truly and on some merchants, some literally evil people want to get rich by poisoning, by creating an addiction that people can. So now people were discussing in 1970s, oh, these cigarettes are addictive and so on. We knew that in 1500 that it's addictive. That's how they sat down together and say, hey, this is addictive. Great. Let's bring it to England and make everybody addict. So they must buy more. And they made it into fashion. Like,
Yeah, it's fat. Like, there was a point in time. Luckily, when I was growing up, it was phasing out.
no, it's coming back though.
No. But let me say this. In the U.S., it was legal to have cigarette commercials anywhere. You could have a cigarette commercial on the billboard. You could have it on the TV, on the bus. It doesn't matter. When I was a child, it became illegal. You were not allowed to do that. But actually, before I was born, you know what was really popular? Candy cigarettes. They would give pretend candy cigarettes to children.
To children, yeah.
And children would pretend to smoke it. By the time I was a child, that was not allowed. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life because I grew up during the anti-cigarette thing. But anyway, we can continue on
on this journey.
because I think that cigarettes must have gotten more and more addictive because I think that they learn
The
more
concentration, we've got better at
more chemicals,
concentrating.
more
And
chemicals to add to it.
and as well we got better at concentrating, and as well we got better at selecting those plants that they have more and more and more of the nicotine.
Yeah.
And make no mistake, nicotine is the one of the, okay, this is nicotine. All these drugs, all of them, they work because you have a receptor in your nervous system that react to that.
Mhm.
Okay, there are some neurotransmitter that makes you sleepy, opioid or Valium attached to those receptors.
Yeah.
We have the transmitters that makes you more hyper and so on. Cocaine, caffeine, there are, and in a way as well nicotine attached to those that literally give you this high and so on,
Mhm.
because they are overwhelming a natural system you have in your brain.
Well, and another thing is people smoke cigarettes because they're stressed.
Mhm.
And there's this common misbelief, you could say, maybe, that a cigarette calms you down, when actually it's a two-part
It
thing.
does.
No, but
If you're addicted to nicotine, you get fidgety.
No, but okay, so let's say you're stressed, you've never had a cigarette before. This is actually a real story. I knew this girl when I worked at Perkins. She had never had a cigarette before in her life, but when we were working at Perkins, when you work in the food industry, you are not allowed to have breaks. But legally, places have to give you a cigarette break. So, yeah.
No,
So this girl,
I'm wondering, how does it come that you cannot have a break except cigarette breaks? I see a hand of lobbies there.
well, no, let me tell you this. Like a regular break is 15 minutes. A cigarette break can be 5 minutes. So maybe that's why, but also lobbyists, and it was normal for
Yes.
CEOs. Like my grandpa used to smoke cigarettes at the dinner table.
Mhm.
That was before I was
And
born.
so did my parent.
Yeah, and that was normal. Doctors used to smoke cigarettes like in the
They were
in the
chain smoker.
hospital.
They still are.
In the hospital, inside
Heart-
smoking.
Heart surgeon are the worst smokers.
But this girl, Deb, I can say her name because no one knows her. She had never smoked a cigarette in her life, but she was stressed at work. She wasn't allowed a break, so she said, "Okay, fine, give me a cigarette." And she had a cigarette to calm herself down so she could have a break.
I see hand of lobbies there.
But there's two things I want to say about cigarettes to calm yourself down. Yes, if you have an addiction, of course, your addiction is going to calm you down. But there's two things. First of all, when you smoke a cigarette, you're actually going to be more stressed out in 10 minutes than you were 2 minutes before you smoked your cigarette.
Almost like any other drugs.
And second of all, part of the reason why you do get more calm when you smoke a cigarette is because you're taking a deep inhale and a long exhale. You're breathing, taking deep breaths. And that is one way to
taking all those carcinogens in. Yes.
Yeah, but that's one way to calm yourself down, is taking deep breaths. And so there's people that say that part of the smoking calming thing is just the fact that you don't take these breaths.
And if you have noticed in 2000 and so on, you wouldn't see much smoking in the movies. But now again, you see in the almost lots of movies, you see people
Smoking.
are smoking more and more. So this is the hidden hand of the lobbyists.
Mhm.
Again, I mean, this is unimaginable that they get away with that. They
Yeah.
literally, and nicotine is one of the most dangerous drugs existing on planet. And it's very interesting for me that a lot of people, they come with this anti-drug and so on, and they're heavy smoker and drinkers themselves and so on. Give me a break,
Everyone has their drug of choice, whether it's
No, but
drinking,
be consistent. Be
smoking.
consistent.
Yeah, but even
Don't-
if sugar is a drug, but what I think is really interesting is I grew up during the anti-cigarette era,
Hmm.
and I saw a transition, I think like 2012,
Hmm.
where people were like, cigarettes are bad, they're super unhealthy, don't smoke them. If you are addicted to cigarettes, try an e-cig.
And that is exactly why I'm saying that, again, the heavy hand of the lobbyists,
Mhm.
it is well established. Already in 1500, 1600, they knew it's addictive. They knew they are going to destroy people. They said more the better.
Yeah.
And this has been going on in 20s, that when the cinema and the movies started, you would see them that to a graceful people and
Yeah, classy.
classy thing and so
and
on with this.
in the 90s, how smoking makes you skinny.
And so at every corner, they use something to
Mhm.
get rich based on the killing people. That's no other words for that. In 1920s was this grace. In 1980s and 90s, it was being skinny. And once our awareness went more and more, and now they became that eat these e-cigarettes, oh, getting all the good part without the bad part. No, I mean, let be scientifically, yes, you don't get all the tars and with the vaping and
But
so
you're
on.
getting
E-cigarette.
other bad stuff now that we don't know
It
about.
is no, well, to be scientifically accurate, you don't get the tars and lots of smoke, actual smoke content. You get more or less just the nicotine and these artificial things that they add to that. But let's make no mistake, for a lot of problem, nicotine itself is what caused the problem, the heart problem, bone not growing, and lots of other things that. So this campaign of trying to make e-cigarettes are less harmless, it is, I think, just a new marketing strategy.
It's not new anymore because now they're already reversing it.
Mhm.
Like, there's this thing right now, popcorn lung. Have you heard of that?
Popcorn lung.
It's really popular. It's teenagers are getting this because here's the problem. They said stop smoking cigarettes, smoke e-cigs. And before, the e-cigs were like almost not cigarette flavored, but like cigarette style. And then they started making them more targeted towards teenagers and children. Fruity flavors, tiramisu, all these different flavors
Tiramisu,
I'm
cigarettes.
not kidding.
Oh
No,
my God.
vapes.
Vapes, yeah.
And actually, I remember when I was like 16 or 17, vapes were super high popular. Like everyone was doing them. They're doing tricks, bubbles and stuff. And my friends all had vapes. So I was like, let me hit your vape. I want to try that. I hit that vape. I actually had to call in from work. I was so sick. I was dizzy. I was throwing up. I could not
And
walk.
you're lucky, because if your body wouldn't react so tremendously to that, you would
I could
like
have become
it,
addicted.
and you would have become addicted. Actually, I think you're lucky that
No, I
your
agree.
body reacted tremendously to that, and you didn't get hooked on it.
No,
Because
I agree. I'm lucky. But then I was thinking, is this how people feel when they smoke so much vape? And I only took like 2 hits, but I've never smoked a cigarette. So I was like, I'm not kidding. I couldn't walk. I was actually throwing up. And they have a name for that. I can't remember the name anymore, but it's common and people kind of enjoy that feeling.
well, they get high on it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Now, again, we are talking about e-cigarette today. Now, there's not a question. Smoking is any kind of smoking. Having inhaling smoking your lung is not a good thing for you.
But
And we went from smoking, then they tried to bring this chewing tobacco, then they brought all this variation of gum and so on and so forth, but they didn't catch up. That's it. You see, they got people addicted to smoking, and then they tried to make money by chewing gum and chewing tobacco and patches and so on. It didn't caught up, and they had this genius idea to vaporize it and make you addicted that way.
because you think it's cleaner when it's vaporized, but it's not.
Well, the idea there is to make money for them, and that's a very successful idea.
Mhm.
But that's all what's to it. You see, you get the nicotine and still have the same effect on your cardiovascular system. It does tons of damage, and so on.
But
And
they're marketing it towards children too, which is like they're trying to get you addicted when
they
you're
would
young.
disagree with you. They would say we are not marketing it at all.
Okay.
But
Fruit Loop flavored, yeah. Let that 40-year-old wants to have Fruit Loop flavored pink vape.
or
nicotine-free.
tiramisu.
Well, then they make nicotine-free vapes too, you know. Like when you go to the vape shop.
Oh, they discovered then they can make money as well with nicotine.
Yeah, when you go to the vape shop, you choose how much nicotine you want. It's in different measurements. It can be 0 to like max. I don't know what the max is.
Our science is amazing. All
And
the
then-
things we can
and
do.
that's how they get the children addicted. And then they make them cute shapes, cute colors. They look like they're
But
fun.
That is no different than when you were a child or before you had this thing. They weren't
Candy
they were like, it looked like a cigarette. So you get you in the habit to be a future customer.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
this is no different.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's lobbyists. They're trying to get the children addicted in the beginning.
And it works.
Mhm.
Now, I see the dangerous part is that I see in a lot of movies, lots of these movie stars and so on. Oh, they're stressed out and they get out and they start smoking. That idea that cigarette smoking is cool, unfortunately, is coming back. So I would truly resist that. But I think they're pouring hundreds of millions, if not billions, in the movie industries, because go look at all these movies now. It wasn't like that 10, 15 years ago. They're all coming back. All these people are smoking to bring that as a habit that people just do it.
Yeah, and if you want to know kind of what messages are trying to be pushed, it is a good idea to watch movies because they also do the same thing with drinking.
Yeah. Every movie you watch, they go home or they want to relax and they have some drinks and so on. I see a lot of alcohol lobby and nicotine cigarette lobby there that they pour a lot of money in the industry to create this trends.
They did the same thing with iPhones when iPhones came out.
At least to my best knowledge, well, yes, you do get iPhone addicted as well, so I would take it back. But
yeah,
but let's talk about cigarettes, okay? So the nicotine cause a lot of different problems, but in my field, if you take nicotine, however you take it, chew it, gum, patch, same. And it doesn't really, for the bone growth, doesn't matter if you take one cigarette or 20, because with one cigarette, you have already maxed the amount of the nicotine that effectively constrict the vessel that go to your bone, bring nutrition to the bone to heal it. So, and that tremendously, one of the biggest factors on bone not growing is nicotine. And your fractured bone doesn't heal fast. Your spinal fusion doesn't heal fast enough, and you're putting yourself at a tremendous amount of danger for any consequence complication.
So do you think that
vaping is not good for you? That's what I'm saying.
A lot of people say to stop smoking, you should transition to vaping. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think whatever get you off smoking is a good thing. Whatever takes you off smoking, but that's as long as that's the goal.
Yeah.
If going transition from smoking to vaping to something else take you off that, I'm for all method that works to get you off smoking, because the social and the health effect of that is still about 60 years after we have all the evidence. That's one of the worst things you can do to your body. The natural scientific evidence that it's bad for you. Obviously, we observed that 500 years ago. That amount of smoking that's still going on is unbelievable.
Sorry, I know we're closing up, but I have one question. Why do a lot of times when people, I don't know if it's like super common, but I heard it is, when people drink alcohol, then they are craving a cigarette?
And this is okay. I'm going to show you how refined our marketing is. I'm going to show you how things that we think that have been always that way and so on, and things that we take it for granted are actually a construct. They are an artificial construct. What do you think when you think of Christmas?
Santa, snow, cozy.
Okay, what else?
Music.
What is Santa? What is what color? What color do you associate with?
Red.
Red. Did you know until 1920s, Christmas wasn't a big deal at all. Christmas, that the way you crave it, you go into that and so on, is not a big deal. Go Google it. Don't take my word for it.
Yeah, because back
Christmas
in the
was a
day,
small part of our Christian. As a matter of fact, many Christian groups, they were actually, they were against this.
it wasn't a Christian holiday to
It
begin.
was not,
Yep.
and it became
And
first in the
also, it
United
wasn't an
States.
extravagant holiday either. Kids would get a toothbrush for Christmas, and now kids are expecting a vacation.
So, and that is the commercialization of Christmas that started in 1920s, 1930s. Why?
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola needed to have a reason to sell their product in winter. And it's books are written about that. So whenever you think, oh, Christmas, you're celebrating the birth of the Christ and so on and so forth, that's a different story. Go read about that. You are giving into the commercialization of ideas that have nothing to do with that. And same with the smoking and drinking. People think, oh, when I'm smoke, I have a drink and a smoke, they go together, because two of the biggest lobbies in the United States. As a matter of fact, we are going to do hopefully a series, a documentary, hopefully soon, about the effect and the power of lobbies in United States on our health care. It's unbelievable. I sort of sometimes lose hope on humanity when I see the evidence of how we are manipulated to do things we do.
And sorry, I cannot believe that lobbying is still legal. Every time I hear a story about a lobbyist, I picture an evil villain. Like an evil villain.
And they are.
Dr. Doofenshmirtz, Evil Incorporated, is going and destroying everything. That's what I think of every time.
And that is why when they put that in our mind, that smoking is cool, drinking is cool, doing them together is even better. Let me tell you another one. Have you seen, how many movies have you seen that the man goes on his knees and present a diamond to?
Yeah, that was lobbying from the diamond industry.
But how many movies have you seen doing that?
Oh, not just movies.
That's like, reality, right?
Yeah.
That's a reality now.
Well, and yeah.
Okay. In beginning of 1900, lots of these diamond dealers, they got in Zurich, in Switzerland together. They decided, how do we make a shitload of money? There were 7 of them. They do something that was even illegal then, but just not in Switzerland. It was illegal in the United States, that companies come together and decide they want to price gauge something. So they decided to put 90% of the diamond they get in a vault, literally hidden from the market, and give only a certain price amount out to keep the prices high. Diamond is not that rare that they made the people believe. So what do? They correlated, they say, we are going to give so many diamond in these carats out based on the engagement number in the United States. And then they put so much money on that if you don't go on your knees with the diamond, that your love is not really real. So every time.
Do you know how much you're supposed to spend on a diamond?
And that is another thing they did.
Yeah.
That you're supposed to spend like 2 or 3 times your monthly salaries.
It's supposed to be 3 months of your monthly salary on a diamond.
If you don't do that, you don't love them. And if you do that, you're making few families who are already very rich even richer. That is what you do.
And then what else did they say? A diamond is a girl's best friend.
And all this extra, glimmer and that fancy stuff and so on, they put it in our brain that's how you declare your love.
Yeah.
And the woman, if you don't do that, the woman thinks your love is not real if you don't do that. Now, I want to spend a trend. I would love to spend its trend if I can.
Start a trend.
Start the trend, yeah. So if you really want to declare your love for somebody, take half of the money you would pay for that diamond, put in in a stock market or in a returning for the future of that person, because as soon as you buy the diamond, the actual worth goes down like 70, 50%. Take half of that money and put it in an account that for the future of that person, and take 1/10 of that money and donate it for people who they can get education. I think that is the true, the for me, I think that is the best way to declare your love to somebody when you think about their future and you think about their education.
Yeah, but just so you know, and we can do a podcast on diamonds. My generation does not care about that anymore. Actually, my generation does not like
Thanks
diamonds.
God.
We don't like
Well,
diamonds
but
because
you're
let
in
me
the-
tell you this. Because we know that they're unethical, and we know that a lot of them are slave labor and dangerous. Like we know about Congo, children going into the diamond things, trying to get the diamonds
I
out.
hate to say that it's not your generation, it's just your environment, Amanda.
No.
It
It's,
is like people, like-minded people.
no, it's
where
not just my friends. This is like,
birds of the feather
but
flock
it's not
together.
just my friends. I'm telling you, it's my generation. We don't want
Mhm.
diamonds. We actually care more. We would rather have a moissanite than a real diamond.
It's still rampant out there that you have to declare
But
your love.
it's a lot less than it was before.
Thanks God. I'm really happy about that. But again, let's start a trend that you spend half of that money on a fund in a stock market retirement account for the person you think you love. That is the real secure in the future. And spend another part of that for their education or for education of people around the world. I think that is what I would see the true declaration of love. That is a true love.
Yeah, not something that you can easily lose at the beach.
There's no way you can lose that.
Right. Thank you guys for watching. This was Essence of Science and
Essence of Medicine.
Essence of Medicine, and we talked about nicotine.
And we end up with the diamond and engagement.
Amanda, thank you guys.